My question is regarding meher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if there is a person who gets married and doesn't pay or doesn't give meher to his wife, later she dies. So is it still compulsory for him to give it?
Now, I got your question. Do you have another one?
This is the question I have.
Okay. Well, in Surah An-Nisa, the Almighty Allah says, وَلَكُمُ النُّصْفُ مِمَّا تَرَكَ أَزْوَاجُكُمْ إِن لَّمْ يَكُن لَّهُنَّ وَلَدٌ فَإِن كَانَ لَهُنَّ وَلَدٌ فَلَكُمُ الرُّبُعُ مِمَّا تَرَكْنَ. Which means that in case the wife dies, if she did not have any children, then you get half of the inheritance. In case that there are children, you get 1/4, the husband. And then Allah the Almighty says, مِن بَعْدِ وَصِيَّةٍ يُوصِينَ بِهَا أَوْ دَيْنٍ. Then afterward, Allah the Almighty also says, وَلَهُنَّ الرُّبُعُ مِمَّا تَرَكْتُمْ إِن لَّمْ يَكُن لَّكُمْ وَلَدٌ فإن كان لكم ولد فلهن الثمن مما تركتم من بعد وصية توصون بها أو دين. So the second segment says, and the wife would get 1/4 of the inheritance if you did not have any children. But if you have any children, then they would only get 1/8 of the inheritance. But after settling two things, wasiyah and dain. After settling the will and the debt. And among the debt, the word dain, the debt is the dowry, which is unpaid. So according to the ayah of Surah An-Nisa, before we touch the inheritance and we start distributing the inheritance, we like to settle two things. Dain, the debt, number one, and then number two, the will, within 1/3 of the remaining amount of the inheritance. So one wife, when she got married, the husband said, the dowry is $100,000. MashaAllah, very generous. But since I cannot afford to pay it now, it's a debt on me. I shall pay you this amount. And they've been married for 20 years and the guy never paid the money. He keeps saying, I don't have, or later. Now when he died, we figured out that he has a house here and a Mercedes there and some cash here. So we say, hold on. The wife is among the heirs. She will get a share, whether 1/4 if the guy didn't have any children, or 1/8 if he had any children, whether from her or from another wife. Before touching the inheritance or distributing the shares, before his father will get anything, before the wasiyah, build a masjid or build an orphanage, before we touch all of that, we say, this woman deserves this amount, which is the dowry, unpaid. Also, Mr. So-and-so and Miss So-and-so, he owes the money and they have the receipts. We settle the debt here and there, and then the remaining amount will start distributing the inheritance according to the same ayah. But for now, number one, we settle the debt, including the dowry. So the family of the guy will say, look, the wife is supposed to only get 1/8, correct, but this is the inheritance. But the amount which he owed her, the dowry, was maybe 100,000, maybe the whole inheritance. It doesn't matter. You give it entirely for her because that is her right. من بعد وصية توصون بها أو دين. بارك الله فيكم. Many people take it lightly and they think, when I get married, I married some people, and the father was a rich guy, very rich doctor, and his son-in-law was still in the beginning of his practice, so he didn't have anything. So the dowry was, wallahi, $1. Is it valid? Valid. But this guy is a multi-millionaire. Well, he said that, my son-in-law is still in the future, he cannot afford it, and he promised the dowry, whenever he can afford it, will be $50,000. You don't have to wait until you die to give her the $50,000. Once you start possessing this amount, it's a debt. Honey, this is your money. If she says, honey, no, keep it with you, I don't want it, or I'll just take 10 or 20 or 30, that's absolutely right. But I have to hand her right for her. Then it is up to her whether to keep it, to dispense it, to give it in a charity. It's her money.